The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has ordered a fact-finding team to Zamfara to fully investigate the incident and provide a detailed report concerning reports of civilian casualties in a recent Nigerian Air Force airstrike in Zamfara State. A statement by the Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Vice Marshal Olushola Akimboiwa, indicates that the team led by the Director of Coordination and Cooperation in the Civil-Military Relations Branch of the Nigerian Air Force Headquarters, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, will liaise and interface with state and local government officials as well as other critical stakeholders for a holistic assessment of the situation to drive an appropriate response. The Chief of the Air Staff reiterates the NAF's commitment to ensuring transparency in the conduct of operations in line with appropriate global standards, as the need to maintain public trust is germane to its operational effectiveness. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has urged police personnel to remain professional at all times. This was at a virtual conference with strategic police force managers in Abuja. Francis Form reports that the conference dwells on reviewing past achievements and setting new goals for enhanced policing strategies in 2025, including plans for reorientation courses aimed at instilling attitudinal change among police personnel to enhance human rights.
Working in our CID is so poor, such that we now get embarrassment from cases being investigated by CID. Officers lobby to go to CID, not for the interest of working in CID, but for the pecuniary benefit. Henceforth, posting to CID shall be done by mobilization in and out. I also want to emphasize the need to go back to weekly lecture of our men. We are going to utilize the weekly lecture tradition to pass the message that we want to pass to these officers.
PP urges all strategic managers to be accountable in their dealings with the public in their various commands, emphasizing that supervisors will be held responsible for any misconduct by their subordinates. The Oyo State High Court sitting in Ibadan has granted bail applications filed by the ex-wife of the Oni of Ife, Naomi Shinekunola Uriomi Hamzat, and the principal of Islamic High School Bashorun, Abdullahi Fasasi, in the case concerning the death of 35 children in a stampede at the Islamic High School Bashorun, Ibadan in December 2024. Kehinde Omolosho reports that the ruling was pronounced by Justice Kamaruddin Olawuyin. Earlier, the counsel to the defendant had argued that bail applications had been before the court since Tuesday, but the court ruled that the defendants would be remanded in prison till January 13 for the ruling on the bail application. The judge ordered the suspects to deposit their passports in the court and barred them from granting interviews. The defendants were arrested over the ill-fated children's festive party in December 2024, which claimed the lives of 35. The Ministry of Women Affairs is partnering the National Gas Expansion Program to key Nigerian women in the hinterland into using liquefied petroleum gas as a clean and healthy source of energy. This was during an interface with the Chairman, Presidential Committee on LPG, Professor Muhammad Ibrahim, on health and environmental benefits of clean cooking fuel to women and children. Ngozi Technical reports.
Well over 67% of households in Nigeria are set to depend on biogas, such as firewood and charcoal for cooking, resulting to several hazards on human health and the environment, as women and children are most affected. The chairman of the National Liquefied Petroleum Gas explains that the committee is bringing up innovative strategies to ensure availability of clean cooking gas in every nook and crannies of Nigeria, in addition to educating Nigerians, especially women in rural communities.
Every woman, wherever she's found on the face of the earth that uses charcoal, what she is using is what we call carcinogenic. What that means is that every time she uses charcoal, some forms of carbon deposit gets into her lungs. From the lungs, it gets straight into the blood.
I think this is a call to action. We're happy to collaborate with you to see that we achieve the same sort of success stories.
In a related development, the minister received the arrowheads of the National Council of Women Societies, led by its acting president, Geraldine Etuk, seeking partnership with the ministry in the area of women empowerment, among other issues.
We believe as a parents' ministry that our organization objectives align with your ministry's goal, and we look forward to collaborating with you to drive meaningful change.
Let me assure you of the ministry's unwavering support as we continue to work together to address the challenges faced by our women, our children and families in Nigeria.
The council decorated her as a life member of the NCWS. On assumption of duty, Dr. Miriam Kenshiro, the newly deployed permanent secretary to the ministry, joined the minister in the day's engagements. Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
And now to news from Oyo State, where Governor Seyi Makinde has officially presented instruments of office to the new Alafin of Oyo, Oba Akim Abimbola Uwade. Ayomiko Ajibola reports that the presentation ceremony took place at the Executive Council Chambers, Governor's Office, Agodi, Ibadan.
Dignitaries, which include traditional rulers, government officials, and Oyo indigenes, witnessed the presentation of instrument of office to the new Alafin of Oyo, Oba Akim Abimbola Uwade. In his remarks, Governor Seyi Makinde described the new Alafin as a leader ready to preserve the cultural and historical heritage of the Oyo Kingdom. Besides, the significance of the Alafin's role as more than a traditional leader, but as a custodian of the kingdom's rich history and traditions. He emphasized transparency and accountability in the selection process, warning that any chief found guilty of collecting bribes during the selection process will face prosecution.
Those that are still hell-bent on destabilizing our traditional institution in Oyo, the government is not letting down. We will prosecute them.
Expressing his gratitude to Governor Seyi Makinde and the people of Oyo, Oba Akim Uwade pledged to prioritize the kingdom development and welfare of its people. Oba Akim Owade, the 46th Aláàfin of Oyo, who succeed the late Oba Lamidi Olayiwola Adeyemi III, who ruled Oyo Kingdom for 50 years coronations, will take place in 4 weeks' time. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
On the health front, amidst growing international concern over the potential spread of a new COVID-19 variant, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is emphasizing the importance of a coordinated and proactive approach to preventing and managing its spread within Nigeria. The Director General of NEMA, Zubaida Umar, stressed this during a high-level stakeholders meeting to discuss Nigeria's preparedness and response strategy. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The SARS-CoV-2 Omicron strain was first reported in May 2024. It has been detected in 43 countries across Europe, Asia, and North America. In Africa, Botswana reported 1 case from a hospitalized European traveler. It is currently being monitored by the health authorities in other regions.
Presently, we have our action plans.
These stakeholders meeting, convened by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is geared towards harmonizing effort to check the spread of the virus in Nigeria. Director General of NEMA, Zubaida Umar, in a message, told the gathering that they must do everything within their powers to prevent past COVID-19 experience that claimed many lives.
While Nigeria is not directly affected at the moment, proactive planning, preparedness, and collaboration are essential to safeguarding our citizens and mitigating any potential risk.
As of 24th September 2024, the World Health Organization, WHO, designated the virus as a variant under monitoring, with rising prevalence in several countries, which warrant a cautious approach and strengthening surveillance in Africa. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Do stay tuned for more reports in a moment. The National Assembly has entered the second week of budget defense exercise, with ministries, departments and agencies defending their financial proposal for the year 2025. In the next segment of the news, National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali brings us up to speed with a compilation of the exercise.
Minister of Power at the Budget Defense informed the Senate Committee on Power that 2.779 trillion naira is the ministry's proposal, and that powering and installation of CCTV cameras on highways across Nigeria for safety of travelers is among its about 200 capital projects in 2025.
We also intend to establish command and control centers at every 20 kilometers to ensure that they are properly equipped to patrol those routes, and where there is anything triggered on the CCTV, the security personnel will be there.
The Senate and House Joint Committee on Army continued the engagements behind closed doors after commitments to ensure improved security.
We know what is required in terms of the type of procurement made by the Army itself.
We have seen how we have succeeded in improving their capital and largely their overheads.
The Joint Committee on Science and Technology hosted the minister, who emphasized that the ministry will sustain the trajectory of economic diversification through application of science, technology and innovation.
To move the Nigerian economy from resource to knowledge-based, driven by innovation.
Many R&D resources of the ministry have not gone beyond shelf of laboratories, and the ministry need to make effort in commercializing and patenting those resources.
At another session, the Ministry of Environment and its agencies defended their proposals before the Senate Committee on Environment.
We don't have any challenge except that the funding is not.
Immediately, the
one that requires to come back immediately will come back.
Meanwhile, the Joint Admission and Matriculations Board, JAMB, was asked to forward more documents when it appeared before the Joint Committee on Tax Fund.
Need a detailed information on the extent of spending of JAMB.
National Senior Citizen Center was among agencies that got the green light on their proposal before the Special Duties Committee at Senate. Improving welfare of retirees was what dominated the budget defense engagements between the Joint Committee with PENCAM and PITAD.
We also need to take into cognizance as well the deduction by the federal government. We do hope that it stays at 30% or lower.
Just the highlights for us to be able to look at it.
The chairman of the NDLEA sought the support of the National Assembly during budget defense to enable it to procure equipment as it continues the war against illicit substances.
Lagos State lawmakers have impeached Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, over allegations of financial misappropriation and lack of transparency in managing the Assembly. The motion for the impeachment was moved under matters of urgent public importance at an emergency plenary in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports.
The plenary was far from the regular because it was conducted in the chamber without power supply. Having acknowledged a letter for emergency sitting, Honorable Femi Said, representing Koshafe Constituency 2, moved the motion for the impeachment of the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, under matters of urgent public importance.
I hereby move that the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, be removed as Speaker of this House Assembly for the following reason. 1. Gross misconduct and poor leadership, including perpetual lateness to legislative sessions and meetings.
Thereafter, the clerk declared the office of the Speaker vacant. Then it was time for nomination for the office of the Speaker. 32 out of the 40 members of the Assembly ratified the nomination of Mojisola Lasbat Miranda as the new and first female Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, while Honorable Majid Fatah became the Deputy Speaker.
Strive to preserve the fundamental and objective and directive principles of state policy.
So the House, as you can see, we have resolved to work together and ensure that we move the Parliament to the next level.
The House of Assembly also suspended the clerk of the Assembly, Olalekan Onofeko, and he has been replaced with Abubakar Taiwo as the acting clerk of the House of Assembly. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Away from legislative matters, who would like to win a free trip? Or better still, some cash? Well, the Coke Studio Beat the Drop campaign, designed to uplift music enthusiasts, is currently rewarding consumers with exciting prizes, including an all-expense-paid trip to South Africa for an exclusive musical experience and up to 75 million naira in cash prizes. As of this Monday, 4 lucky consumers have already won the all-expense-paid trip to South Africa, while 20 lucky consumers from across the country have claimed 1 million naira cash prize each. Coke Studio unveiled some of the consumers who have won the trip to South Africa and 1 million naira cash rewards, while showcasing the impact Coca-Cola is making on people's lives. The Coke Studio Beat the Drop campaign is also urging consumers to take advantage of the Coke Studio experience to become the next millionaire by continuing to buy, drink, and participate in the promo. Any drink could make one a millionaire or the next lucky winner of a trip to South Africa. By 2030, an estimated 35 to 40% of duties will require digital skills. To meet this trend, the government, through the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has launched the Digital Literacy for All program to train civil servants in skills needed to deliver efficient and tech-driven services to citizens. Chimdimma Undubisi reports that in the next 3 days, the first batch of 1,848 civil servants will undergo training in key digital skills, including fundamentals of using digital tools, effective use of computers and mobile devices, and creating online content and digital safety and security.
Civil servant enroll on this platform in partnership with Cisco. Anybody that participates in this program will earn a certificate that is globally recognized. And this will empower all our public servants to be digitally literate.
The expected outcomes are upskilling of our staff to be able to know how to navigate and bring themselves up to speed regarding digital skills, and to be able to have a workforce that will be able to deliver better service for Nigerians.
The target is to train 8,000 civil servants per month to reach more than 5 million formal workers across both public and private sectors by 2027. This initiative also aligns with the broader goal of achieving 70% digital literacy across Nigeria's population by 2027. And still on training, the federal government is realigning policies to make education in Nigeria more practical and less theoretical, part of deliberations at a meeting convened by the Ministry of Education with rectors of polytechnics and provosts of colleges of education. Zenret Dingmun reports.
Highlighting the need to intensify efforts towards the digitization of education sector, the Minister of Education emphasizes that the current narrative must be changed. Priorities, he states, must be properly aligned to ensure Nigeria keeps pace with global educational trends. The minister urges tertiary institutions to diversify their revenue sources and sensitize students on how to access students' loans and other available opportunities.
Participate actively, as your contributions will be instrumental in shaping the policies that govern the education system, which directly impact the lives of countless students across the nation.
We now need to align the courses we teach in a federal polytechnics and a federal college of education with what we need in the country. You need to align your educational programs with Nigerian National Development Plan.
Inadequate funding, dichotomy between university and polytechnic graduates, the implementation of dual mandate, inadequate hostel and classroom facilities, the sharing formula for TED fund interventions, staffing and training challenges. These were tabled for the minister's consideration to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the system.
Consequently, cases of theft and unkempt environment, college environment, are becoming rampant, since many of the unpaid casual personnel lack motivation to perform their duties on a salary of 10,000 naira. We strongly advocate for the establishment of a National Polytechnic Commission to serve as a dedicated regulatory and supervisory body for the polytechnic education.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the National Sports Commission provides insights into efforts to revamp sports programs in tertiary institutions. In Abuja, Zenret Dingmun, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a two-day conference intended to develop a sustainable roadmap for 21st century education in Nigeria is underway in Abuja. A collaborative effort of the National Universities Commission and Committee of Directors of Academic Planning of Nigerian Universities, the conference emphasizes a unified approach to transforming the nation's education sector. Francis Udojo reports.
The aim of the two-day conference is to exchange ideas between participants, address challenges affecting the education system, and profile solutions that will redefine Nigeria universities in the 21st century for a sustainable future. Professor Yakubu Aboki Ochefu identifies inadequate funding, poor governance, insufficient infrastructure, and corruption as significant barriers to progress. He challenges stakeholders to view these issues as opportunities to innovate and build capacity within universities.
In this era of knowledge as a service, in this era of data as an economic resource, as a new oil, we should be able to churn out new ideas that will revitalize our university system.
You can't run away from AI in these days. So he has listed some of the issues to be tackled, and I'm sure the DAPs at the end of the two-day conference will be able to come up with resolutions that will be very impactful to the Nigerian university system.
We can work with all the things that we have to make sure that Nigerian universities have the opportunities of measuring up to the demands at the global level.
The event aims to provide a sustainable roadmap for redefining university education in Nigeria, ensuring it meets the demands of the 21st century. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Now let's join Jennifer in our Lagos studios for more reports on the network news. Jennifer. Our Lagos studios for reports on the network news. Jennifer.
Which is unarguably the biggest in Africa, can be a catalyst for the much-needed economic transformation if deliberate actions are taken to increase the local content in the telecom industry. Stakeholders say with Nigerian youths having the requisite tech skills, if given more opportunities, unemployment, expatriate control of the industry will be reduced. Joel Popola has the report.
The telecom industry in Nigeria, which has been on an astronomical growth path, has been attracting foreign direct investment into the country. This has also come with tech experts from different parts of the world migrating to take advantage of opportunities in the nation's telecom industry. Although local content is gaining traction in the industry, stakeholders believe more can be done to deepen homegrown content and innovation.
Involvement of Nigerians is there. The issue is the level of involvement, and of course, the level of involvement depends on your financial capacity. So I think that's where the real challenge is in terms of local content. But the issue is that, like we have in the oil and gas, there are policies that have been put in place to encourage and stimulate local participation and local investment in the oil and gas sector, and the same thing needs to be done in the telecom sector.
So you could have small startups set up networks to their local communities. We could have more inputs to telemedicine and bringing medical. So you could really have the small players come in, but getting them involved has to be intentional. There has to be some intention on that in supporting entrepreneurial endeavors by startups, by supporting hackathons, competition. Tell them, okay, how can we do this? And just challenge the young ones.
With over 200 million people and a vibrant, diverse culture, Nigeria's potential for producing homegrown digital content is vast. Analysts say this is also fueled by upgrading of telecom infrastructure and technologies like 5G and possible migration to 6G. The consensus of industry players is that the need to adopt policies that will encourage local content, especially now that the countries are harnessing the potential of digital economy, to be prioritized. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Away from technology, the tradition of appreciating its officers and men for a successful year came alive again at the Combined West African Social Activities WASA 2024 of the Nigerian Army held at the Boni Cantonment, Lagos. Lanre Gbeleyi, who was at the socio-cultural event, now reports.
It is time for these men and officers of the Nigerian Army to hang their camouflages and loosen their laces of their jackboots for conventional shoes for a few hours to celebrate the Combined West African Social Activities with unique cultural displays entertaining guests. The host, Brigadier General Usman Musa, says the event is not only for officers and men to unwind, but to appreciate the melting pot of diverse culture the Nigerian Army has become, as well as improve military-civil relationship.
In the present times, Wasa has become a channel of expressing gratitude to God Almighty for making it possible for the organizing units to have achieved successful completion of the year's activities.
The GOC 81 Division Nigerian Army Major General Umar Majinyawa commended the officers and men for their doggedness and dedication, urging them to keep the flag flying this year.
I urge the troops to sustain the good work, and the Chief of Army Staff appreciate their effort last year, and we hope this year also they will sustain the momentum so that we can be able to confront the security challenges across the country effectively.
The traditional lighting of the bonfire for the Wasa was the climax of the celebration. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Time to take some messages. The news will continue after that with business news, and Musa Abubakar will be your guide.
Thanks for staying tuned to NTA Network News. Let's now talk business. Oil prices surged by about 2% on Monday, reaching a 4-month high amid expectations that expanded U.S. sanctions on Russian oil will prompt buyers in India and China to turn to alternative suppliers. Brent crude rose 1.8% to $81.16 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude climbed 2.8% to $78.72 per barrel. These gains position Brent for its highest closing price since August 26th and WTI for its highest close since August 12th, with both benchmarks remaining in technically overbought territory for the second consecutive day. It's a bearish close for the equities market at the end of today's trading session. The whole-share index shed 0.08% to close at 105,367.25 points. A total of 506 million shares in 14,259 deals, corresponding to a market value of 8 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 1% decline in volume, 16% decline in turnover, but 11% improvement in deals. Equity capitalization decreased to 64.2 trillion naira. Tantalizers recorded the highest volume of 48 million traded shares, followed by Universal Insurance Company, ICO Insurance, and Chams. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite slip Monday as major tech stocks that have led the bull market continue to be dumped by investors. Let's now see stocks around the globe. Network News continues with Najatu after the break.
Senator Samuel Anyanwu says he remains the substantive National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party despite dismissal of his position by an appeal court in Enugu State. The appellate court ruling upholds the decision that recognizes former National Youth Leader Sunday Ude Okoye as the National Secretary. Correspondent Timothy Yusuf reports that the party's National Publicity Secretary Debo Ulugunaba, however, says the PDP is yet to receive any stay of execution on Anyawu's resumption.
The National Secretariat of the PDP officially opened this Monday, 13 January 2025, from the Yuletide holiday. Two factional secretaries vowed to resume following the Enugu State Court of Appeal ruling sacking Senator Samuel Anyanwu from office, having participated in the last governorship election in Imo State. Anyanwu resumed office, saying that with the stay of execution, the status quo must be preserved, meaning he remains the National Secretary until the Supreme Court resolves the matter.
As a matter of fact, what the law says that I should appeal. I appeal the matter, appeal for stay of execution and all that, and appeal to the Supreme Court. Obviously, what it means that the position remains as it is until determined by the Supreme Court.
Sunday Ude Okoye, however, did not show up at the PDP National Secretariat against his earlier resolve to resume office this Monday. PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ulugunaba has reacted to the development, saying the party has not received any stay of execution Describing Anyanwu's reception as unfortunate, a stay of execution, he stressed, is a process and that the parties involved in the matter must all be served. Meanwhile, some supporters of Senator Anyanwu staged protest at the entrance of PDP National Secretariat, chanting songs that Samuel Anyanwu remains the National Secretary of the PDP. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu congratulates former CEO of Leadway Assurance and former chairman First Bank, Tunde Hassan Odukale, on his 60th birthday. President Tinubu commends Hassan Odukale's contributions to the growth and stability of key industries, including insurance, asset management, information technology, and banking. From his tenure as managing director at Leadway Assurance to his previous role as chairman of First Bank and other top institutions, Hassan Odukale has been a defining force shaping Nigeria's financial and investment landscape. President Tinubu joins family, friends and colleagues in honoring his contributions to Nigeria's corporate advancement and wishes him good health and success in the years ahead. Deserted streets in Maputo after Mozambique swears in new parliament on Monday as opposition leader calls for strike in protest of highly disputed elections. And new Lebanese President Joseph Aoun names prime minister. Details with Frama Pani on Global Update.
Two opposition parties boycotted the opening ceremony, saying they did not accept the outcome of the October election, while the incoming president, Daniel Chapo, called for calm and unity after months of deadly unrest. Opposition leader Venancio Mondlane, who is popular with Mozambique's marginalized youth, claims the results were rigged in favor of Chapo's Frelimo party that has been in power for 50 years. He urged his supporters to demonstrate their refusal of the official election result with a national strike from Monday to Wednesday when Chapo is due to be sworn in as president. Military police surrounded the parliament building and police blocked main roads to the area during the inauguration ceremony. The city center, usually busy on a Monday morning, was deserted with most shops closed and protesters manning barricades in certain areas. Meanwhile, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun on Monday picked Nawaf Salam, the presiding judge at the International Court of Justice in Hague, as prime minister following consultations with lawmakers. The presidency said the president of the republic called on Judge Nawaf Salam to task him with forming a government, knowing that he is currently abroad. It has been decided he will return tomorrow. The Eastern Mediterranean nation had been without a president since October 2022, run by a caretaker government amid a crushing economic crisis compounded by all-out war between Lebanese militant group Hezbollah and Israel. Frama Pani, NTA News.
Thank you, Frama. It's now time to join Bade in the Sports Corner for updates. Bade?
Many thanks, Najatu. And of course, finally, the new coach of the Super Eagles was unveiled earlier today. Now, the new coach of Nigeria Super Eagles, Eric Chelle, says he cannot wait to begin his reign in charge of the 2013 African champions. The Malian was unveiled at a ceremony in Abuja Monday where he promised to build an ambitious team. Suleiman Musa has details.
1977 in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, to a French father and a Malian mother, the 47-year-old Eric Sekou Chelle has formally been unveiled by the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) to fill in the vacant role since the resignation of former Super Eagles player Finidi George last year. Chelle, who becomes the 37th substantive coach of the Super Eagles, has been handed a 2-year contract to give fresh energy to the senior national men's football team with an immediate task to qualify Nigeria for the 2026 World Cup to be co-hosted by the USA, Canada, and Mexico. The new coach says he is aware of the task ahead and ready to navigate the Super Eagles to conquer Africa and the world.
Football is about scoring goals. My former team scored 42 goals and conceded 13 goals. I'm an ambitious coach and I want to win.
We need a person who understands clearly the African football, and Eric comes clearly highly motivated and qualified to lead the process. With his record, if you can deliver, as the president has said, deliver the record he did for Mali here for us, with the winning ratio, and luckily believe that we'll get the World Cup if that happens.
But I want to assure you, Eric is here to work, and Eric is here to give us the results. We gave the technical committee the opportunity and the privilege to work diligently and get us a coach, and they did their work. They do whatever they need to do, and by the grace of God, he is here to work.
The former Mali coach comes with his 3 assistants and will be joined by Daniel Ogumodede and Fidelis Elechukwu. A qualification to the 2026 World Cup automatically triggers the extension of his contract.
We should give him a chance. That's what I would say, because he's coming to Nigeria. It's a different ball game, coaching a Malian team. So I think against Rwanda by March, we will now begin to say if he has a quality that the NFF saw.
As a nation, is to support him, to give him time, and then the player needs to show the signs of seriousness.
Shelley will play an advisory role at the upcoming CHAN 2024, while his first official game will be World Cup qualifier against Rwanda in March. In Abuja, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
There you have it. The man is here. And that's a bit on Sports Update. Let's now return to Nigeria.
Thank you, Badi. Nigerians, I'm sure, have high hopes.
Sure.
The committee for the funeral of Comrade Benedicta Madunagu has announced her burial to be on Friday, January 17, 2025. The revolutionary activist, scholar and feminist died at the age of 77. A statement signed by Professor Biodun Jefo indicates that the interment will be preceded by a celebration of her life and times on January 16 in a program that will feature a feminist forum, funeral conference, cultural performances, and tributes from comrades, friends, and well-wishers. Comrade Bene, as she was fondly called, a professor of botany, retired from the University of Calabar after years of mentoring generations of students in her department and ideologically influencing students in other faculties. Comrade Bene, a fellow of the MacArthur Foundation, is survived by a husband, Comrade Edwin Madunagu, and children, Mrs. Unoma Madunagu Agrinya, Ikenna, and Michael Madunagu, amongst others. On that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. Thanks for being a part of it.